Black Americans have been a crucial constituency for the Democratic Party for decades. As we all know, black voters overwhelmingly favor Democratic candidates. In any county with a large black population, you might as well pretty much automatically paint it blue on maps every election season. In the last presidential election, 87% of the black vote went to the Democratic Party. In the one before that, it was 89%. But why do black people vote blue? Let's talk about the history of the black vote, why the Democratic Party is heavily favored, when that trend started, and if that trend will continue for the decades to come. The allegiance to the Democratic Party is deeply rooted in the struggle for civil rights and social justice. But the black vote didn't always go to the Democratic Party. In fact, black voters voted Republican for decades because of one very forgotten fact. The Republican Party was founded as an anti-slavery party. But wait, before you switch back to the Republican Party, let me tell you the whole story. The anti-slavery stance wasn't one based on morality per se, but one that aimed to limit the power of southern states whose economy relied heavily on slavery. Even though there were some that were completely against slavery, the Republican Party, founded in the mid-19th century as an anti-slavery party, initially garnered significant support from black Americans. Abraham Lincoln, who was in fact the first Republican president, issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which played a crucial role in ending slavery. During Reconstruction, the Republican Party pushed for amendments and laws to ensure civil rights for newly freed slaves. The significant shift in the black political allegiance began in the early 20th century and solidified during the Civil Rights Movement. The New Deal programs of President Franklin D. Roosevelt in the 1930s, which provided some economic relief, during the Great Depression, appealed to many black Americans despite their exclusion from some benefits due to segregationist policies. This is the era when the black vote moved from the party of Lincoln to the New Deal coalition. The realignment accelerated in the 1960s with the Democratic Party's support for civil rights legislation. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s marked a critical period. Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson played a pivotal role in passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These actions contrasted sharply with the opposition from many Republicans and Southern Democrats, leading to a significant shift in black voter loyalty to the Democratic Party. According to his aide Bill Moyers, President Johnson said, quote, "I think we just delivered the South to the Republican Party for a long time to come," after signing the Civil Rights Act. And he was right. Although race is not the only factor in the South turning Republican, the Republican Party became a party about limiting the reach of the federal government and aligned with big business. Cultural war issues between now the progressive Democratic Party and the conservative Republican Party meant especially white evangelical Christians felt more at home with the Republican Party. But the shift didn't happen overnight. This leads to the question of why the shift of the Republican Party from progressive to conservative was not enough to keep the mostly Baptist Southern black voters that are socially conservative.
African American churches opened their doors to President Bill Clinton back in the 90s, and now they're welcoming Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders is also hitting the platform with a surprise visit to Columbia's Brooklyn Baptist last Sunday.
That answer, besides the Civil Rights Act, lies in the social economic issues. Economic inequality remains a significant concern for black Americans who are disproportionately affected by poverty, unemployment, and wage gaps. It is said that black voters are socially conservative and economically liberal. Will black voters always be blue? There has been a growing movement in recent years to get the black vote to switch from Democratic to Republican, or at least not be automatically Democratic. Rapper Kanye West was a notable participant in this movement, although it's unclear where he stands on that now.
Quite frankly, the Republican Party hasn't been present in black communities across this country.
We still have our challenges, without any question, but we're getting it right a lot more than we're getting credit for.
The main argument this movement has is that the Democratic Party has failed to deliver on many promises made to the very loyal black community. Although the Republican Party hasn't exactly laid out what the black vote will stand to gain by making the switch, other than the argument of, hey, let's give this party another try. If this movement is successful, it will not be an overnight switch, as political loyalty is difficult to turn because politics gets passed down from generation to generation, just like religion. So there you have it. There's just a little history lesson of why blacks vote Democratic at the current time. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I think you owe me a subscribe and maybe a click on that like button. See you in the next video on Black history and culture.